Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to today's class. For today's material, we will be talking about recount text. What is recount text? Definition and purpose of recount text. Recount text is a text that telling the reader about one story, action, or activity. Its purpose is to entertain or informing the reader, or a text which retells event or experience in the past. Writers should remember that while the purpose is to retell, they still need to craft their retelling to be interesting to the reader. Rather than retelling every minor detail, the reader needs to select important information or events and expand on this in an interesting manner. If you were recounting a sports day, you could focus on the place, time, events, and result, which may be appropriate for a report. But to interest the reader, thinks about what would lift this above the diary detail. What was the highlight of the day for you? How did you feel when you tripped just before the finish line? Did anything funny or surprising occur? The characteristic. 1. Using the simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. 2. Frequent use is made of words which link events in time such as next, later, when, then, after, before, first, at the same time, as soon as she left, later on, Friday, on Saturday, on Monday, on Sunday. 3. Focus on specific participant, the writer. 4. Using the conjunction such as then, before, after, etc. 5. Using an action verb, when, state. 6. Passive voice must be used. The bottle was filled with ink. Factual recount. Types of recount text: personal, factual, imaginative. A. Listening section. Well, student, in this section you will hear the audio text 3 times. The first section you will hear the text without pauses. The second and third section you will hear it with pauses to give you time to do exercise. Please listen it carefully. Good luck. Listen carefully to this audio before you do the exercise below. Part A. Fill the blank of the missing word. Part B. Do multiple choices. First day at senior secondary school. I learned at Pelita Bangsa Senior Secondary School. That was the first banner service in that school year. I felt so apprehensive in the light of the fact that I would confront introduction program for a few days ahead. Some new understudies came late, so that they would get disciplined before they could enter the door. After the banner service, I instantly went to the classroom. I saw the cumbersome air of the classroom. I didn't know any of them. It appeared that nobody was my classmate in junior high school. I decided to sit in the front side. It was still unfilled seat. At that point, somebody came and sat close to me. She was Putri. She was my chairmate. She was more garrulous than me. Helped me to soften the circumstances. She was so clever as well. I was so glad to have her as my chairmate. I was making the most of my discussion with Putri when all of a sudden my seniors went to the classroom. They designated me to come before the classroom and requesting that I presented myself. I was stunned. I stood up and began to present myself. After I had presented myself, despite everything, they didn't permit me to take a seat. They requesting that despite everything, I stand up there. I was so perplexed. I pondered what they were going to do. Until the last understudy completing his presentation, despite everything, I held up. A couple of minutes after the fact, one of my seniors started a discussion with me. He said that I was uproarious, yet I looked unconfident with myself. So they're requesting that I hold up. They needed me to see the majority of the understudies from in front and felt that everything alright. I didn't need to stress anything and I ought to stood and present myself courteously. I felt touched in light of their way. They gave cheerful thumping on me. At that point, they permitted me to take a seat. I felt so mitigated. Be that as it may, out of the blue, they got irate again to me. I didn't comprehend what truly happened right then and there. It was so unusual. I attempted to keep myself smooth. I was truly stunned and I didn't consideration what my slip up was. I felt that I had done well. In the long run, I saw my class instructor came. Needed to inestimable what happened in light of the fact that my classroom was so delightful. I was eased for the second time that my educator could take a handle of that issue. We're out of the classroom. The point when my instructor was giving guidance for us, I saw two individuals before the entryway. They recognized the entryway. Shockingly, they were my guardians. At that point, when my educator opened the entryway, they all of a sudden sang cheerful birthday melody. Cried. I was stunned. I comprehend what truly happened at this point. Alongside my guardians, my senior came and bought numerous sustenance. The greater part of my companions in the classroom sang a tune for me as well. What a grand day. I will always remember that minute. It was so comprehend. Much obliged to you, my guardians, my instructor, my senior, and the majority of my schoolmates. Now, if you have finished your work, try to check on the correct answer of the question. Now let's do the part B. 1. Where was the writer attend her secondary school? A. Bangsa Pelita Senior School. B. Bangsa Bunga Senior School. C. Pelita Bangsa Senior School. D. Pelita Senior School. Number 2. Where the writer sit when she entered the classroom? A. In front side. B. Back side. C. Close to the window. D. In the center row. Number 3. Who is the writer chairman name? A. Putri. B. Bunga. C. Putra. D. Pelita. Question number 4. How was her classmate reaction after she presented herself? A. Delightful. B. Quiet. C. They hated. D. No respond. Number 5. Who was the two individuals that came from the entryway? A. Her senior. B. Her friends. C. Her guardians. D. Her teacher. If you have finished your work, let's check out the answer by click on the button of the right corner. Did you get it right? If you did, congratulations. I think that's all for today's material. Thank you for coming and keep practicing. Thank you. Goodbye. See you again in another material.